is here. Thank you, everyone, for being here on time, including myself. Amazing. Miracles. And we're all here, so we'll go right to our consent agenda. Sorry. I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I will move.
I will second.
Move in a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Assets. On to the director's report.
Well, that took no time at all.
Did
Good thing I've
you
got it
get that
written down.
note too?
Okay. So resulting from all of our work on safety response, still, we are going to see Glenn Sanders from the Department of Homeland Security, Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, also known as CISA. He's going to be on site on October 3 and 4. He's part of the library's staff training day, and he's also going to be conducting a vulnerability assessment of our building, which means he's going to walk around and scope it out inside and out and think about what recommendations he might have in terms of amplifying or increasing or improving security. Simultaneously with this, I'm working with BTR Architects to discuss several not the greatest workflow situations up here, but also the staff desire to have an extra emergency exit installed. Preferably, we are pointing at that location, but
when you're pointing at that location, you mean
at the
here in
window
kids?
there, yeah, near the
Okay.
kids area, and so that would serve any staff person at this desk being able to get out. It would benefit our littles being able to get out. It would also benefit the fact that we cram a lot of people right here into this space when we're doing our programming in the library. The nearest exit is back here. Many people don't know that, but this would be visible. But there are challenges and risks involved in putting a door. If we're looking at this from a threat perspective, most likely we're going to be dealing with someone coming in the front door and we're sending everyone right back out to it. So we are talking with all these agencies, trying to get the best advice on how to have a productive conversation about the changes that we could make for security and safety in the library and making improvements short-term and long-term. So Glenn, so the BTR Architects has supplied back 2 drawings that we can use as discussion. They have 2 concepts that they're showing us in drawings, and right now I'm waiting for CISA to provide their feedback so I can put them together in one package and really come forward to the board with a conversation around something put together, something integrated, rather than piece by piece. So you can look forward to that. In terms of our building, on September 2nd, we had Superior Cleaning come and do half of our upholstery. They did all of our rolling chairs. And I'm going to have Mark back in October on the 14th. He and I will be here, and he'll be working on the larger pieces of furniture, the stationary items.
Okay.
We have installed a door between the staff workroom and the front. You can't see it because it's completely open. And the hardware on it has not completed coming in, as well as I'm not sure we selected the right hardware. And so I'm in conversation with a few different people on that, including CISA. And the ongoing conversations of the boilers. I have a new error code. It's our buddy E14 who lets us know that there's a low voltage issue. So I am working with a heating plumbing person in the community. They spoke with the manufacturer who believes it's probably a moisture problem inside the cabinet, but to be continued on that as well. This may be redundant, of course, but at our last meeting, we talked about library technology and computers not being able to take on the Windows 11 updates, and then I was already planning to have Sundew Technology on site to evaluate, basically give us a comprehensive replacement strategy for all of our technology, and we got really great news. we've done our job on a rolling basis of updating and replacing technology in the library. And I'm really proud to have been a part of almost all of it. So from our technology bay over here with our Wi-Fi printer and our larger all-in-one printer to the new fax machine that we've added. Earlier this year, you'll recall that we replaced the switches and updated our cloud technology that counts Wi-Fi statistics for us. And behind you on the ceiling here is one of our Wi-Fi pods. See, David, this is why we have to have meetings in the library, because I can do this. Everybody, look, it's right there.
It's right there.
It's manifest. So, yeah, so we've done replacements on those and placed them in places also where the signal is better able to be conducted outside of the building for 24/7 access to anyone who so desires. So we're back to the computers, and it is generally recommended that computers be considered for replacement every 5 years, and our computers are 5 to 6 years old. So we're on schedule as far as that goes. I can't remember if I mentioned there's a possibility that we could do a parts update or some kind of tweak in half of the computers, because we did install them on a rolling basis. So we have different models. There may be some that can be pushed off, set back a little bit. Also, Jeremy wanted me to know that it's not an imminent need. Like, we have time to think about this. We have a little time to plan, but it definitely is the next thing that needs to happen. And then along with that, it's not so, just so we're clear, it's not just the computers that would be upgraded. I would also be replacing batteries on the battery backups and getting scanners replaced. It's their time as well.
Mandy, can you remind me, like, approximately how many are able to, like, be goosed along a little bit, and how many probably need to get replaced sooner?
Let's just look at half. Okay. So it really depends on the strategy I use going forward. But for example, public computers were first before staff. So staff are a little bit, or how is it? It might be backwards. Staff might have been replaced first, followed by the public. And so it's that kind of thing, where we would be replacing the computers for an entire work group first and getting comfortable. And then I had some conversation with Jeremy about we're not currently using an antivirus. Software probably should be. He agreed with that, and we're probably gonna, he has ideas about what we could use. And then I have a data retention question mark or desire that I believe we're supposed to have our computers backed up here and off-site, and we're not doing off-site. But if we do look at some of the cloud technology that David was maybe talking about, we do look at some of that, we can reroute our information so that our computers are backing up to our NAS boxes, whatever those things are. It's like a little computer box thing that remembers everything. We're backing it up there locally already, but we're going to route it more efficiently. And then that would be backed up in the cloud. And that would create our offsite backup for staff computers. That's the report. Do you have questions about that? No.
Thank you. So I don't want to skimp on staff computers. I think we should go all in on staff computers. As far as like the public use computers, like I feel like we can, so just me shopping for a Dell all-in-one computer, it's like $1,600. And so if we're going to replace 17 computers and it was roughly like 35,000, it seems like that's maybe a little steep for what we need, but maybe I'm not understanding the whole the whole spread of.
So it was, my original estimate was about 25,000, I think, was in the last board packet. And then through our discussion, it's like, oh, what we might need to do, we're going to need a consultant. We're going to need,
Gotcha.
There were some other things that we.
So it's not just the computer. It's not just the hardware.
Okay. The 35,000 might also, because we were also talking more about like being more experimental and getting the
Yeah.
animal that can do all the things and,
Yeah.
you know,
One
kind
of
of cloud
those and-
technology.
yeah,
So
yeah.
That's
I
probably,
think
yeah.
there's a range here, 25 to 35 being
Yeah, and it was just my quick math, just like, wait a minute, is that
Yeah.
what they really cost these days? And
It's
I was like,
high.
actually, but still, yeah, no, I think that's a good range.
Can you get by with monitors and things that you already have, or do you have to replace those?
they're all
too?
in one.
They're all, oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And one of the models I'm looking at for the staff computers with Jeremy is it's got like a mini box monitor and keyboard. And then if parts go wrong, it's easier to replace the parts. But perhaps, so we're discussing, you know, perhaps on the public end, we may go all in one again. It just really tidies up the space.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yep, and there may be software that needs to be either
Mhm.
subscribed to,
Mhm.
updated, whatever,
Mhm.
Adds up.
and that is not cheap.
Mhm.
We're hoping that the Windows Office subscriptions, the licenses can be rolled over, which is very exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the security that locks the computers down, that's just going to migrate right over.
Good.
Yeah.
All right, and there's nothing more with the report. We can go on to the old business.
Board had a few questions for me last time. I'm just coming back with the information. Nancy, you had asked about the security alarm system having a maintenance schedule or something. Great Big Alarm is recommending an annual inspection to protect the investment.
Okay.
The lobby doors replacement strategies. So our building and streets department manager recommended that he sees these aluminum doors tiring out after about 5 years and that it would behoove us to plan ahead for door replacement. It's not cheap. And when I spoke with Northern Door and Hardware, they assessed those doors and determined that actually our doors right now are in really good condition and that practical, affordable, or cost-effective, I suppose, maintenance strategy would actually be to replace each part as they break off. I did reorder sweeps for the bottom of the door, which blocks debris from coming in. And then he talked to me step by step what's likely to fail on the door, this piece, then that piece, and here's what we could supply. If we were to stay with this vendor, Northern Door is a steel door manufacturing company, and we have aluminum doors. So if we want new doors, we got to talk to somebody else. But if we want the parts, they're happy to keep coming up. They've got parts for our doors. Yeah, that's the summary on that.
Great.
Okay. I just went through all of the technology infrastructure evaluation and upgrade strategy. Blah, 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 blah. The thing I would add is that I had thought my time with Jeremy would include him, right, like telling me what the price of the cost of the value of our technology suite, and he did not do that. So in order for us to have an idea of how much it would cost in a worst case scenario with everything dying at once, like staff are going to have to provide that for you.
All right. Anything more from the first writing? Let's come back. Talk about
for the upgrading of the rest of the heating and cooling systems, it says we have about a third done. Do we have a timeline on that? Is this going to be done over a couple of years, or do you want it to be done by the end of next summer?
I have to ask you that question.
Okay,
What would the board like to see happen?
I saw there was that. That's what I was trying to remember. There was the replacing the 2 boilers with the 1 boiler. And then there's also the idea of the third, doing another third as well. And then there's also the idea of the third, doing another third as well.
A third boiler.
Yeah,
A third heat pump.
third, yeah.
For a third of
third
another third
portion.
of the.
Yeah.
And what was the thing with humidity? You're saying that
Yeah. I feel that this happened after we excavated. So many E words in my head right now. But I think it happened when we excavated and redid the backside of our building.
Mhm.
We re-insulated the whole thing and we took everything down to the footings and did some work. Okay, this was to prevent flooding in the building and also to better insulate the building on the hillside. And I find that there's more moisture in the air since that happened. I'm not sure why, or I'm not the scientist. I just know that it's been moist and you can actually smell it. So I've been running the air source heat pumps. They do have a dehumidify function, and I wasn't finding that dehumidity level was coming down in the back room where the heat pumps are near. So I do have questions for our contractor, and I would expect a little better performance on that.
Is there this is maybe a crazy question, but is there a standard humidity level more or less for libraries?
Do you know when we flooded, the extraction wizards said you really don't want it to go above 65, 70. Like that's when things start getting ruined.
Yeah, your books will mildew and whatever.
So I try to keep it at like 60 or below. If I notice it's at 60, I think that's high. We got to solve the problem. Oh, P.S. I purchased a standalone dehumidifier, and that's what we're using in the back. I empty it every day.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
do we have a floor drain back there?
No.
Okay.
Do we need to consider, and I'm not a mechanical engineer, but are there systems that in the overall system include dehumidifiers?
Mm-hmm.
And do we need to consider one rather than having a little, standalone dehumidifier in this corner and one over there? And
Yeah.
And you heat the building, it'll help dehumidify.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's true.
So, half of the year you're heating the building, at least half of the year.
Yeah.
That helps with
Yeah.
humidity.
Yeah, and air conditioners too, right?
Yes.
They take it out, and
Yes.
we have used air conditioning a little bit this year, but not like in past years. It's been comfortable.
Mhm.
We've got everything off right now.
So out here, it's the humidity is okay. It's just in that.
Back there, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, especially in the staff
Yeah.
area. I noticed
Okay.
it.
And did you say the standalone dehumidifier brings it to a below 60%?
Yeah, and it's just a household thing.
So it isn't going to take much then.
Yeah.
But it needs to.
It's
But
not
the
a lot of volume.
okay, so but the air source heat pumps aren't doing it by themselves.
Yeah.
So adding this one unit worked, but it needs to be constantly emptied.
And it's a smaller volume.
Yeah.
It's not like
Yeah.
this huge
Yeah,
one
yeah.
here.
I bet you when we're 3 for 3 with the air source heat pumps, then it can keep up with it. But if you're
Yeah.
just having a third of your power trying to compensate for all of it, I just don't think it'll be able to if that's what it's spec'd at. But maybe and then like there's no, I see vents, like, is there an air exchanger?
I don't know how
I'm
to
not
answer your
seeing-
question. Like, I think there are different types of equipment that do air exchange, but I don't know. Because I know, like, we have a piece of equipment that I think takes cold air in, warms it up, and the air
Okay.
source heat pumps also do that, right?
Okay, yeah.
There's something above the door in the back office. Suddenly I'm forgetting what it is.
It does sound like an airflow
Yes.
issue, like we
In the back.
insulated better
Yeah.
and now we're
Maybe
not
it's
seeping air in and out.
Yeah, or, yeah, I don't, yeah.
Who do I ask about?
Get into the
This
weeds on this.
basement?
Is there a
This is-
sink in that room? Or
It's
Is there
No.
what
in
in
the
that
staff
room?
area,
No.
Sink.
in the
A
lunchroom,
sink.
not in the work.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, I thought with the lunchroom, there might be a
Oh.
sink, and then you could just take the tube.
Sure.
Because most
Oh.
humidifiers have a tube that you can just put it, we can connect that into the drain
wouldn't have to
somehow so that you don't have to
Mhm.
reconnect.
Yeah.
If the board wants to go ahead with that second third of the air source heat pump project, that might be someone to talk with about this issue, and they'll be able to better guide us, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that is the question before us.
So, and the board, so just to stay with you, Anna.
Yeah.
When we first brought the air source heat pump thing to the board with Shane, I'm gonna point to this empty chair and pretend he's sitting in it, right? Shane Steele, our sustainability coordinator, he just gave us different options, and the board at that time chose, we'd really like to move forward on this. Let's try a sample. Let's do 1/3 at a time, see what that does for us, and then decide whether we want to move forward. So if you say move, I'll call Twin Ports, I think is the company we're with, and Shane, and let them know we're ready. So do you want one more third, or do you want to do the project?
I think we should do the project. I don't,
What's the, remind me what the full project is, because
Right.
obviously we can't replace everything with heat
Right.
pumps. We need to keep
right.
a boiler.
Yeah.
Keep that.
Yeah, I think it's a, you just add the heat pumps. It's just, do we want to add another third, or do we want to go for the remaining 2/3?
So if you look at the walls here, the mini splits that are here are old style, and they have the liquid inside that you can't have anymore, the antifreeze or whatever it's called. Don't laugh, answer the
No, no,
question.
it's
What's it
true.
called?
Yeah.
The
Freon?
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, the Freon inside you're not able to replace. So the mini splits, the air source heat pumps, they just replace what's here. And so we have 1, 2, and there's a third one here. And the equipment that's running or managing that is right in between
Mhm.
here. And then in the back of the library, we do have a broken mini split that's not working anymore on this wall. And then there's another mini split back there. Did I do that right? Oh, there's 3 in this room. Okay, these 3 get serviced here. And then there's this guy, that guy, and the one in the back. Those get serviced over here. So what he would do is take those out, reuse the piping as long as he can. He was able to last time, and then put in the new unit. And so we would be replacing that and this, and to complete the project, and the propane stays, because the air source heat pumps can't do the cold.
Right. Yeah. Well,
And kind of nice to have 2 boilers right now, because one
Right.
is not happy and the other one says, I'll try.
Mhm.
that's good that they cooperate like that. Yeah. Well, then I guess that's to us. I would put forth that we consider doing the 2/3.
Yeah.
Just finish off the project.
Mhm.
Put it over to you all.
It would be about $40,000 to finish the project.
And
no
we can
way.
afford
I
it.
believe.
Get it.
That's,
We can use the, it wouldn't be out of operational, it'd just be
No.
out of the Hazel Matthew or whatever.
Yeah.
Building fund,
215.
yes. Too many things floating in my mind to
And I
speak.
think I gave a number last meeting that it would be, that you're at about the 300,000 mark, or just under.
So there's,
Do you have
ample
Yeah,
room
there's
in-
money,
Yeah.
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 And I
You
think
know,
that's
it's not going to get any less expensive.
exactly
Right.
And if we can capitalize on savings
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
the air source heat pump is supposed to provide, if we finish that project, the sooner we do, the hopefully more we can save.
Well, I'm gonna have that as a motion. And that would take a
So move.
second. All right.
And
Oh,
second,
Oh, we have conversation. Did you have
Yeah.
something?
So do we feel like that's more important than replacing the computers, or that's something we can do both?
I think considering our fund level, that we could do both.
Yes.
Any more discussion? Questions?
As far as the computers are concerned, well, heck, as far as any and all of it are concerned, we should really incorporate these costs into our budget as a capital improvement,
Yeah.
Cycle or plan or whatever. So, right now we have the money in like the 215, right? But that's one-time money, and it's appropriate to use it for this. But I think it's also appropriate to try to integrate these costs,
schedule,
right?
you know, that we're gonna hopefully it'll be a while, but
Or every 5 years, probably for the computers,
for
right?
the computers,
Right,
yeah.
Computers,
And then for
sure.
these, hopefully it is for, I don't know.
Hopefully apocalypse.
Is that when? Okay, good.
Okay,
So we'll be good.
hopefully, we'll see. All right, well,
How does that sit with you though,
Yep.
Sarah? You were wondering.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I just want to make sure that we're thinking about both
Everything.
things. And then also the other thing we had talked about was allocating program spending out of that same fund. So that would be
yeah,
3
but then
significant
making that part of the budget.
budget
is what
in
I-
25. Yeah. Okay.
So we'll do the one, just talking about the 2/3
Mhm.
is what's in front of us right now. So all those in favor
Oh,
of that portion?
I
Aye. That's great.
Did we have a second on that, though?
seconded.
You
yeah.
did,
Mhm,
okay.
mhm.
And so what's the motion? Just to
The
complete?
motion was to pay for or complete the 2/3, so whatever that, I mean, you gave us a number, but.
Yep.
Whatever that is. And then, do we have another motion, anybody? Do we need a motion for that, for the computer part, or is that just gonna take another step forward at this point?
I think you're.
We're
What
at
would
the
you
point
say,
of just
David?
saying like,
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know what is needed right now, or what, are you
I'm just
looking to
wondering if
spend
you-
now, or we have things
Yeah.
planned now, or what?
We don't even have a number on
Right,
this.
yeah, it
Yeah.
was just kind of us saying 35,000, or,
Mhm.
It's a rough estimate.
yeah, but
Yeah.
that seems like a fair number. We could go ahead with that. Do we need a motion for that? I'm just trying to think it through.
probably, if we
Yeah.
want to say like,
If it's not a regular budget item, then
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
well,
Yep.
and if we want to say like no more than 35. Or maybe we want to talk more about it, as more information comes forth, but maybe, I don't want to hold you up, Amanda, is what I'm.
So maybe we can say that, we could say 35 is going up and shooting above, then we can have further conversation.
Mhm. That makes sense.
To exceed?
I'll make a motion to authorize Amanda, our library director, to spend up to $35,000 in updating our IT resources. Thank you. I was going to say palette or.
Second.
All right, motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, passes. What's our third thing? We had one more.
Program
spending.
spending.
Programs on the, oh yeah. Getting that, well, paying it and then getting that as part of our regular budget. And it was 15.
15.6. So I would move that we allocate $15,600 for program spending, in the hopes that can be backed off by grant support, but at least that we're committing that so that the library can plan programming appropriately.
I would second that. Any discussion?
Would you repeat the motion?
To allocate $15,600 for program spending.
Do we need to say on a one-time basis? No, okay.
Right. With that, let's discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Passes. Anything more? Do trustees have more they'd like to spend on today? So many good projects, but I feel like those shares.
Mhm.
Yeah, just going down the list, we have the Dropbox. I don't know if there's a conclusion
Oh, yeah.
there. But I like the idea. I don't know anything, but I don't think we need to replace it. I think we
I
can
would
just,
say no.
right. We can
I
just
mean,
paint that.
You know,
and
it
have
feels
them-
like painted. I was actually thinking, maybe, having the school like pick a grade, and then every year that grade comes down and paints it.
Yeah.
Whenever, like spring or fall, whenever it makes
Or it
sense.
could be an art project, whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but something like in any event, not something we would expend on.
And maybe a good way to do that is ask our director to reach out to
Yeah.
Mila Horak, our
Yeah,
art
Mila.
instructor at the
Right.
school, and just say, "Hey, do something."
And it's another way of getting kids to the
Yeah.
library.
Mhm.
For schools.
Thank
Well,
you.
there's only, I think, one art instructor, so the other schools certainly, I think, should and could be included
Yeah.
or have a go at it too. But
Yeah.
as far as
Thanks. That's helpful.
and then I'm still a little baffled about the rotunda. Like I just, I was out there just before I came in, pulling on it and kicking at it, and I just don't understand what is.
I wonder why they
I see the
coming
crack.
loose.
I see the crack, and
Mhm.
like yes, we can do tuck pointing, but I just don't understand it coming off. Like,
Why is it doing that?
or
Well, it's
that it
glued
is
right
doing
now.
it.
Whether it
It's
would.
glued right now. The ones that came off
It's
were
all
glued.
so we're good for the time being.
Yeah.
It's just such a
But glue isn't the way
Right.
to do that.
right.
Just gotta get those little things that, the guy used to hang.
Oh, right, yeah. Super glue.
Super good.
And then the boiler. So you gave that update with the air code, and then to be determined if there's more that needs to happen or.
And hopefully with the putting in more of the heat pumps, that will help take some stress out. For sure.
Yeah, I would hope so too. Has there been any more discussion about the website too? Like, I guess maybe I'm a little out of the scene with like subscription, like that 3,600 annually.
Yeah, that struck me because
I don't know if that's worthwhile. Maybe it is. I don't know what's needed, I guess.
I guess that's where I was needing to get some more guidance too, because I was looking at that number and it struck me as a little high. Because I think I've seen those usually reversed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Where you're paying for the build and then you have flexibility to manage it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's just my first look
Yeah,
at
yeah. So
one
maybe we can-
provider.
Mm-hmm. Are they
That
are they
is
local?
no, they're not actually local, but what happened is they proactively reached out to me and said, hey, wink, wink, we know about the law that's changing in your area or whatever. And, we're here to talk to you about our stuff. So we talked.
Are the Arrowhead folks looking at that
Oh,
in
yeah.
general? For all of the Arrowhead libraries?
Every city does its own library, its own website.
Okay,
Arrowhead has its own website that services the region, but we each maintain our own.
no, I was thinking more
Of
if
like a subscription for everyone.
advisory for its members.
Right.
Yeah, some guidance on the ADA
Yes,
stuff.
some guidance and,
Yeah.
maybe there's even a provider that they would recommend or
Yeah.
a couple of providers.
Yeah, good to get another.
I mean, we're part of that group. We should have some kinds of benefits like that, I
I'm sure,
think.
and we're not the only ones having. to
No,
deal
we're
with it.
definitely not.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a good idea.
And Duluth is part of Arrowhead, right? So I'm just thinking, I don't know the Duluth Library, but
Mhm.
perhaps they have, I was going to say more resources, or they know of more options is what I
Yeah.
want to say.
Yeah. Yeah, and that would be good to get more options. obviously we have to do it, so at some point we have to spend the money. But since it'll be an ongoing item,
Yeah. But I'm always a little bit, it's maybe a symptom of my personal laziness, but if other people have done some research and they're willing to share it with me, I am always, you
Yeah.
know, ready to consider what they have found.
yeah. Right.
And the only other thing was that audio visual. And remember I sent you that link and it was, I forget however much,
6,000.
which is nothing to sneeze at. I was at the Great Expectations annual meeting and they had a projector. I think this is how it worked. I came late and blah, blah, blah. But it looked like this box that just sat next to the wall and then shot it up the wall. And I was like, huh, is that what that is? Like, is that what's going on here? So there's no, no bunny ears or anything happening,
That's so cool.
Wow.
but I don't know what that cost, but
I can find out what that was.
yeah.
Thanks,
Yeah.
sir.
Look, I think that,
Appreciate it.
yeah, looked pretty slick.
I talked to Jeremy while he was here about our phone system because he does maintenance on the Panasonic system that we use, and he's like, "What? You guys still have that thing?" Yes, we do.
And it
But
works.
and I don't have the details in front of me, but the the trade-off between upgrading to a voice over internet protocol system and the one that we have is not worth it right now.
Okay.
Is kind of the summary.
Well, that's good
It
to
would
know.
look a lot
Yeah.
like this website development thing where it's like I'm taking my bill up this much, but it isn't really changing the experience all that much.
Mhm.
All right. Anything more from trustees? Oh, that's great. Let's see how it shakes up.
All right.
All right, we'll call that adjourned. Thank you,
you.
everyone.
Thank you.
I'm gonna run away quickly. Please excuse me.
All right.